All right, thank you. So it's my pleasure to be here to take this opportunity to showcase my research. So I'm Eric. I'm assistant professor in the Material Science and Engineering Department. I'm also affiliated with the Nanoscience Technology Center and then Electrical and Computer Engineering. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, so just a little bit of introduction about myself. So by training, I'm a material scientist. So I joined UCF as an assistant professor in 2016. Okay. So given I'm affiliated with both nano and material science, I'm teaching material and the nano-related courses. So here are some of the the courses that I've been teaching so far. So I received the graduate teaching award a few years ago. So far I've mentored dozens of students in postdoc, 7 postdoc, and then 9 graduate students and more than 10 undergrad students. Okay. So here, these red boxes, one represent the current lab members, and my students received the more than 30 awards in recognition of their research excellence. And this is the partial list of the awards they have been collecting so far. So next. All right. So for my research lab, so just a little bit of information. So I've been publishing over 100 papers, and then more than 60 papers has been produced at UCF. So my research has been supported by several federal agencies, including NSF, where I got a couple of the award, and then I also got some the support from the EPA and Air Force, and recently I got the NSF Korea Award, which is about the the 2D materials for electronic devices. So my paper has been featured as covered in several the prominent journals. So that's what you're looking at here. Okay, so next slide. All right, so what I'm doing in my lab, so given I'm a material scientist and specialize in nanoscale materials, so I am interested in developing new nanoscale materials with interesting material properties. Okay, and then I strive to understand their structure property relationship, and then translate these interesting material properties to the large scale practical the device applications. So what I believe is, new materials always lead to new opportunity in terms of technology. Okay. So material systems that I'm particularly interested at this point include 2-dimensional materials. So near atom thickness 2D electronic materials. So we develop new 2D materials and study their unprecedented opportunities in a wide range of the emerging applications, such as electronics, optoelectronics, energy, and beyond. So next slide. Okay, speaking of 2-dimensional materials, so probably the graphene is one of the best known examples of the 2-dimensional material. Okay, so here what you're looking at is, this is the library of 2-dimensional materials currently under development. Okay, so graphene, well-known conductive material, right? So beyond the graphene, now the library of 2D materials is drastically expanding. So in a way that now we are able to cover the whole range of the electrical optical properties. As you can see, semiconducting 2D material, insulating 2D material, so on. So that way we can now cover the the band gap from the the 0 electron volts all the way up to the 6 to 7 electron volts. So what it means is now we are having a full range of electronic materials that can make up the electronic devices with needed electron transfer properties. Conductor, semiconducting, insulating, so on. Okay. So beyond these electronic properties, so what's so special about 2D materials? Their excellent mechanical properties. So here what you're looking at, okay, so the plot on the right-hand side, so on the bottom. So what you are looking at is the correlation of the carrier mobility versus strain limit for various materials. So as you can see, conventional 3-dimensional materials such as silicon or 3-5 semiconductor materials, they do present high carrier mobility. So meanwhile, as you can see, the strain limit of these conventional materials is quite limited, typically less than 5%. Meanwhile, two-dimensional materials such as graphene or 2D TMD, transition metal disaccharide, present an excellent combination of high mobility and strain limit, large strain limit. So what it means is, in principle, these 2D materials can be mechanically stretched up to almost 30%, while they are still maintaining their excellent electrical properties, such as high carrier mobility. So we are interested in exploring these interesting, the opportunities. So our focus is on either drastically improving the performance of existing technologies by incorporating 2D materials, or we wanted to realize completely new format of electronic or optoelectronic devices by using 2D material, which has never existed so far. So next slide. Okay, so this is landscape of 2D material research happening in my lab. So basically, we are doing every aspect of 2D material research, from material development, characterization, integration, and then device application. So basic scheme is that we chemically grow 2D materials by using some chemical means, such as chemical vapor deposition. All right. So as I mentioned, we are able to grow various 2D materials with diverse carrier transport properties, such as metallic, semi-metallic, semiconducting, so on. Right. So we grow the materials on, reduced substrate at high temperature. Okay, and then now we are able to delaminate these grown 2D materials onto secondary unconventional substrate, which gives out unique functionality. Okay, so what it means is now we are able to these 2D materials, which are extremely thin, and then with interesting material properties on any kind of substrate without any limitation. Okay. So the logistic wise, so you can see this analogy of the near atomic scale label-like device building blocks. So basically, we are able to assemble two-dimensional materials on unconventional substrates in a layer-by-layer manner. So that way now we have the electrical components of the metallic, semiconducting, insulating, so on. So that way we can project to develop the new optoelectronic devices. Okay, so with this new, device building blocks, what are we going to do? Okay, so next slide, please. All right, so here's some showcase of the ongoing research in my lab. Again, our underlying theme is that we wanted to realize the unconventional technologies by incorporating these two-dimensional electronic materials. Okay, so many things are happening in my lab, and then there are a couple of examples. So the first one is the deployable device technology. So what it means is, given that these 2D materials exhibit the excellent combination of the the electrical properties and mechanical the stretchability, we are able to explore the mechanically tunable as well as electrically optically tunable the devices. So as you can see on the left-hand side, we already work on the various type of the the devices which can be the mechanically stretchable in multi the dimensional manners. Okay, such as stretchable transistor, photodetectors, and then electromechanical actuators, so on. Okay, so that's one aspect of the ongoing research in my lab. Okay, on your right-hand side. So here I'm presenting another example of the, again, 2D materials enabled unconventional, devices. So namely, dissolvable device technologies. So what I mean is, so we are able to integrate these excellent two-dimensional materials on, the, biocompatible substrates. So biocompatible means, they can be dissolved in, the certain, biosolution in environment benign manner. So that way, we realize electronic device which can be completely disintegrated once they achieve the targeted functionality. So we already shown the proof of demonstration of the various gas sensor devices using two-dimensional materials integrated on the cellular substrate. So again, the biocompatible cellular substrate. So the device presents the excellent sensitivity, and then as you can see on the the bottom image, now we are able to dissolve this device in the bio-friendly manner. So again, the whole motivation is that conventional electronic device technologies rely on the use of heavy chunk the wafer technology. So what I mean is these wafers will be, and once the device the discarded, these wafers will be piling up. Okay, because given they are not reversible, they're not recyclable, so that will potentially cause the some environmental threat. So my the approach is to to mitigate this environmental problem. Okay. Okay. So next slide, please. Okay. So here I present a couple of examples of the ongoing collaborations within and without UCF. Okay, so again, the whole point is, so we are, utilizing these two-dimensional materials in a way to either improve the performance of the, existing technologies, or, the realizing new technology. So within UCF, I've been collaborating several PIs. Okay, so when it comes to electronics, so we have been developing 2D material-based AI, computing hardware in collaboration with the Professor Tanya Roy at MSc department. Okay, so basically we have been working on the 2D material-based neuromorphic electronic and optoelectronic devices. Okay, so when it comes to electronic, when it comes to the environmental aspects, I've been collaborating with Professor Woo-Hyung Lee. So we've been working on 2D material-based the water desalination technology, and also the energy technology. So we are making, trying to make the better catalytic materials, by using two-dimensional materials in collaboration with, Professor Yang. Okay. All right. So beyond UCF, so again, several, the collaborations are ongoing. So one of them is the skin attachable electronic devices. So we take advantage of the extremely thin 2D materials, which are directly integrated on the human skin, right? And then given that these 2D materials still present the excellent electrical properties, we are able to, realize the conformal extremely thin electronic tattoos, which are able to, monitor human, the health conditions. So, this is the, the example of the, 2D material-based, the, electronic tattoo. So, and then we already confirmed that these 2D material-based tattoos, outperform the conventional bulk material-based, the electronic skin. Okay. So when it comes to future collaboration opportunities, so we are open to anyone with any kind of collaboration. Okay. So as far as they are interested in the using our two-dimensional material. Okay. So in that regard, we are also open to discuss with anyone about their material property needs. Given that we are actually material scientists, so my lab is specialized in making new material. So we are open to discuss with anyone about their material property needs, and then interested in making new material tailored to their, the property needs. Okay, so that's all for today, and thanks for your attention, and I'll be happy to take any questions. Thank you.